supplemental to money. That's just sort of how I interpret it. And the other piece of that, which I know is a big part of what you push much in your book, is this idea of business as war. Or war as treating business as war, this idea, the language, the way we go after things. Jeff, I think, even talked about that. The languaging, we're going to conquer, we're going to kill the competition, we're going to decimate our competitors, we're going to do a lot of things that aren't nice and healthy and pleasant to a lot of different people. and so that becomes another piece. And so the question, twofold question here to throw out to the group. One, about the introduction of money into the concept of I would actually call it commerce as opposed to business. So somehow it evolved from commerce to business. Would that be a fair assessment? Anybody in the thought process? So commerce just being the exchange of goods and services, business being a structure for that. Business being, oh, we can take this great thing called commerce, which is we're helping each other out in our community because I can cook and he can build and he can construct, and this one can be a doctor and this one can be a nurse, and we do all this together, and our community is taken care of. And then there was another person who came along and said, yeah, but if I control all of it, then I can manage all of this and I can call it business. I can make money from it, I can run everything, I can take care of, and I can make these people do what I want them to do, and it's now no longer an exchange, it's a, I don't know what, I need a word. It'll come. It's a thing. Let's go there. A thing until we get a better word.
Yes.
So that's where my mind was going, was kind of thinking about, okay, so if we understand the evolution, maybe that would help us to deconstruct or reconstruct the consciousness of business. So maybe that it goes back to, not even back to, a new form of the idea of commerce. And I don't know what that would look like, but I'm just sort of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing where we go with it.
Well, there's been an increase in awareness in communities with the advent of Corp Cs, new corporate structures that are being evaluated by their communities with regard to their ability to help the community by putting or keeping money in the community, by having an awareness of, are they bringing pollutants to the community, they polluting the air, the water, chemical creation, are they running mom and pop stores out of business? It's kind of like why some towns actually make it illegal for a Walmart to come into the community, because the mom and pop stores go away. And the connection that you have, the relationships that you have with the small business owners, that is a form of business. Is most of us shop at places that we have a familiar, we know our cars somehow just know how to get there and we don't have to think too much. We're familiar with the same sales staff or the wait staff or whatever, and there's just an attitude or an experience of familiarity and trust. I think trust is really the key here. And all I trust when I go to Walmart is I'm probably going to get the cheapest price on the planet for this good or this item I'm purchasing, but I have no idea the human sacrifice that went into creating this product. How many kids had to wade through the mud to extract this precious metal that goes into this phone that's sold back in the tech department, that nobody really cares about because we're so disconnected from all of that. So this notion of these new corporations that are being formed, where they're being evaluated by the community, have you brought positivity to our community? And you can say, well, gosh, we created jobs, so that's positive. But creating jobs in and of itself isn't necessarily always a positive thing. A bar can create a job. You can load up 10 bars in a community and say, oh, we created jobs. Well, yeah, you also created a lot of alcoholism, and we got DUIs all over the place now, and drunk drivers. And anyway, it just it can snowball into a whole bunch of different directions. But I think there is a movement on the planet right now, and we're seeing it. I think our our children that are approaching their 30s have an awareness that we do have to start paying attention to the garden at some point, this planet that we live on, that we can't just keep operating because it's good for the bottom line or it's good for the shareholders. That I'm even in my discussions with picking different companies to invest in the stock market, there are people that are consciously avoiding cruise ships and airlines and things like that that pollute a lot and don't really have any positive outcome to the health and wellness of our planet. There is a global consciousness that is increasing for us to be more selective on how we spend our dollars and what businesses we support and which ones we don't. So that's encouraging to me to see that we are moving away from just because it's good for the bottom line or good for the shareholders. That's not enough anymore. That's promising.
Yeah, and that shows up in a lot of ways, like you're talking about the B Corps, the benefit corporations, and there's this idea of conscious capitalism, field organizations as part of a growing movement, servant leadership. So it's showing up in different forms, and they're starting to build this critical mass, I think. That's why I called my book The Amari Wave. Originally, it wasn't called that. It was called The Amari Way. It was called a million things. Right before that, The Amari Way. And I'm walking on the beach with my dog, Jim, where we walk many times, and I'm saying it doesn't have the right energy, the Amari Way. That's the method, framework. And I'm looking at the ocean for the 8 millionth time in a row and say, that's it. It's this movement that's growing. And we can sometimes, if we label it, if we see it and name it, it gets more power and people can apply it. So I think you're exactly right. It is happening. It's certainly not the majority,
No.
but there's a fair amount of it happening, and it's getting, again, this critical mass. I'm hoping before too long there'll be thousands and thousands of organizations saying we are an Amari company. And they might use other words, that doesn't really matter, but we live this way. We're committed to these principles and these ideas. And then that snowballs into think of all the positive experience that creates for people. And then people have that uplifting feeling in their lives, and then they're kinder to others, and it just keeps going and going. So along the lines of what you talked about, Jeff, that's how I envision this whole thing manifesting over time, and hopefully not too much time. I think that the gift of this pandemic is it forces us to really be aware of our choices. You know, can't really hide behind anything, and to say, do I want to keep living this way? And the people running companies that I'm talking to, I'm saying, notice what you're changing and think about what do you want to keep? Are you treating employees better? Are you treating customers? Are you questioning your values? Are you seeing where you're hypocritical? Which of those changes are you going to keep? Make a choice. Make it conscious. So hopefully a result of this pandemic is it's harder for us to bury our heads in the sand and then we say, well, I'm going to put selfishness and greed first because that's what I want to do. Or I'm not. I'm going to be more conscious and kind and collaborative, and that's what I want to do. I think I'll make more money that way anyway.
Right. Some of the feedback I've heard from these communities that have B Corps coming into their communities to build from the ground up is that the leases that they are signing for the property or the business permits that need to be pulled to do their businesses get evaluated periodically. They literally get voted on by citizens in the community that are part of the evaluation process of, have you actually brought good to our community? And if you have not built the playgrounds you said you were going to build, or contributed to the Boys and Girls Club, or all the different ways that businesses can get involved to support those less fortunate and the underserved, if they actually can demonstrate that they have contributed in a positive way, then the permits get renewed and the leases get extended. And it's actually pretty darn cool that there's a performance criteria that has to get met in order for the business to continue.
Yeah. And that's what it takes, where all the stakeholders are stepping up and getting involved. It calls into questions like if, for your listeners, if anyone invests in the stock market, every investment is a choice. Will I invest in this company even though their practices are mean and evil, but they make a lot of money? So will I compromise my values to make money? Well, it's just an investment in the stock market. Or will they say, no, I'm not going to do that? And to your point about the community being involved, that's critical. It's also harder in some ways. So I think this participatory model on one level is challenging. It's not what we're used to. And it doesn't let us be passive and just whatever. We need to really engage.
Right. Well, it's almost in a way like looking at each business as a neighbor. And if you were living in a neighborhood, we all have neighbors that are very neighborly in a positive way, and we have some that could really care less and would be better off living out somewhere by themselves where their noise levels or the way they keep their yard or just the disruption that they cause, the lack of awareness of how their actions affect everybody else. Businesses are the same way. And it's nice to be able to have some kind of leverage to dissuade those poor choices in behavior in how you show up and how you're affecting other people, both at the personal level and the business level.
Yeah. I love that label you use of neighbor. I was talking with a friend who's also a client, heads up a technology company, and like most technology companies, they call the people who use their product users. And I thought about it and asked the question, and that's very common. That's a standard in the software industry. And I raised the question, well, what does it mean to you? What does it say about you as a company when the people who make use of your stuff are called users? What if you call them friends? What if you call them how do you treat users? And how do you treat friends? And how do you treat neighbors? And so on. So you were talking about language, Jim. It's very powerful on both sides. If we call someone a customer, or a consumer, or a user, or a patient, or a client, or if we are more predatory and they're just a statistic and there's no face to them, so we can do whatever we want with them. It's that which fuels what I consider the dehumanization. It allows things to be sometimes very nasty and more warlike.
Yeah, I was thinking as you guys were talking here, wondering about the introduction of, why do we treat business like war? Well, it's probably many levels, I would guess. As I was kind of cruising around thinking about myself in relation to business, and I don't know if I'm different than other people, and I'll be interested to hear you all's perspective on this, but it almost seems like it's as important what we take to businesses we interact with as it is how the businesses interact with us, and that this battlefield is sort of like you're going into a business because you have a need or a desire of something that they produce, and so the ultimate desire is I just want to show up and get my thing and go. But what happens is you get there and it's a line and it's a person who doesn't know what they're doing and the person who doesn't care about what they're doing, and then it's, no, we're not going to give you what we said we're going to give you. We're going to give you this other thing because we don't have what you wanted. But this is okay and you'll like this. And all of this kind of deflective, non-responsible kind of approach that I know many companies have worked on, and many companies have tried to train people to act better, but they only want the people who work in the front lines to act better, but nobody else has to act better. Nobody above the people who work on the front lines has to change anything. You just have to put up with their bullshit so that you can pretend to like the people you're dealing with when you don't like the people you're working for and you don't like the people you're dealing with. So you're kind of in a catch-22. So again, I'm feeling this, okay, here's originally we were looking at how we treat business like war from the perspective of just being in the business. But the reality is, I think that we treat business like war from a 360-degree view, both internally and externally. There is the business itself, which is created from this construct of conquest, and then the fight that people have to go through to engage with some businesses becomes another feeling of war.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's got to be work done from both directions. But I guess to the point that I was making earlier, the challenge is it's evolved to a place that it's not sustainable, which is what we're seeing.
Right.
I've been saying that for a year and a half at least, as I've observed this, and as I've observed the increase in this tension and this soured consciousness in business, going, this isn't sustainable. How is it possible to sustain this kind of out of balance condition? And then this happened, and here we are, and now we're in a place of reconstruction or deconstruction, or I'm not sure where we are in the process, but
yes. There's some often cited research by the Gallup poll people on engagement in business, and it consistently shows that over 2/3 of people are not actively engaged. 1/3 are, about 15% are actively disengaged. I hate this, I don't want to be here. And the other,
you're talking from the context of someone who works in the business, is that correct?
Yeah, sorry, this is about employee engagement.
Okay.
So about 50% or whatever, 15% are this sucks, I hate this. I'm just here for the paycheck, I'm going to get the hell out as quick as I can. And only 1/3, roughly, say, I'm actively engaged and I want to contribute, I want to make things better. So 2/3 of people working are not actively engaged with the companies, organizations they work for. That's astounding, and that's totally unsustainable. And that's becoming more and more evident, and that spirals and creates a lot of unhappiness and suffering. And to step back for a moment about where this came from, I tried to converge a lot of different perspectives so I could understand this and explain it as best I can in my book. And one of the most useful was the Tao Te Ching. It's a treatise, Chinese book from about 2,000 years ago that makes the case that the explanations for the book to help understand the book is it was really the agricultural revolution that started about 10,000 years ago that fundamentally shifted things. That before that, there was still war and fighting. Generally, it was advantageous to cooperate. It didn't make sense for one group to say, we're going to take all the land of that group even though we don't need it. It just didn't make sense. Like animals, predators don't just keep killing and killing. They kill the food, they eat it, and they're done. And then the agricultural revolution came that let a few people have plenty and have surplus, and that let them control the masses. And that's kind of the energy we've been in for roughly 10,000 years, where there's not been a day in that time where there's not been war somewhere. So that energy of a few have a lot, and most have little, is really thrown us for a loop. And now it's what the Tao calls the great integrity. It's the melding, take the best of each paradigm and synthesizing them into a new approach, a new way. So that's the hope that we're at this point and can birth this new way of being that's much more sustainable.
So how do you see this? Do you have a sense of having done this research and kind of really developed this wave concept and realizing that it's an evolution just like everything else we're dealing with at this point? Have we hit bottom? Have we actually gotten to the place where we can turn a corner, or are we still kind of on the fence of going back to what was instead of creating what is?
It's a great question. And I want to say yes, we're at the bottom, absolutely. I don't know that to be true. I think for a lot of us we are. And the pandemic raises the same question. There's a lot of people who say, I just want things to be like they were before.
Mm-hmm. Every day, I hear it all the time.
Yeah, in my opinion, that would be a tragic outcome of this. The wake-up call we have in front of us, as painful as it can be, it's saying got to do something different. This isn't happening anymore. So we have a lot of signs that say we need to shift. We also know that psychologically there's this thing called the status quo bias.
The status quo what?
The status quo bias.
Bias, okay.
Yeah, we're just comfortable with what we know. So we go back to the same place, we'll wear the same clothes, eat the same thing for breakfast. It's just we're creatures of habit. But that can make us get stuck. Even if we know there's a better way, that we can say, this is familiar, so I'm going to do it. And so that's something we need energy to overcome and move people through their experience into this other way. And hopefully they'll have an uplifting experience and say, this feels better. I'm not totally drained when I get home from work. I'm not saying, what am I doing? I'm liking it or even loving it. And customers feel the same. And then that spirals and spirals in the world. So I hope we're at the bottom, and with this pandemic and other forces, it's saying, wake up. You've got to wake up. You've got to do it.
Yeah. So from this perspective, from here, are you going to suggest something, Jeff?
I'll hold my thought.
Okay. So I was being funny saying love and business sitting in a tree because I was hearing that song as a kid, you know, Kissing. And I thought that it was a fun sort of metaphor for the idea of, okay, so here you are, love and business are sitting in a tree together trying to have a relationship. What does that look like? How does that look? You know, Jeff spoke early at the very beginning of the idea of how do you get love into business and can you get love into business? And it's a curious question. And I know, I mean, I was in service industry for 30 years. I know a lot of that, at least what I could impact, had to source through me. So it was how I interacted, regardless of what the people above me were doing. I had to create a separation between them and us in the business in order to operate the business the way I felt was in integrity to honor the people in it. Meanwhile, trying to filter what was coming from above in a way that I could do that and still come to the bottom line that they were looking for or achieve that. And part of that for me was just simply not really paying much attention to their goals. I mean, in all honesty, you know, if it was a choice between achieving their goal or successfully running my business, my choice was always to successfully run my business, always. Because me successfully running my business meant I was attending to everyone who worked for me. I was attending to my business in a way that I was providing an atmosphere and a consciousness about their work. It was not about, you work for me, now get your shit together and let's go. You know, that it was about, yeah, you're a human being who's contributing something very valuable to this organization. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. How can I help you become better at what you're doing? How can I support? I want people to interact with my customers in a way that is not normal. I want you to know their names. I want you to know as much. I want you to be involved. I want you to know they're coming into my restaurant every single day. I want to know their name. I want to know what they like. I want to know enough that I can look up from what I'm doing and see them come in the door and say, John, how are you? Good morning. Good to see you. You ready for your coffee? Boom. And there we are. And now we have a relationship. And that's what I see is lacking. And it's something that I struggle with every time I go into a business. I'm the guy who, if I go into a restaurant and you don't acknowledge me within a minute, I walk out. Literally, I walk out. I will not have it. If I'm going to come spend my resources in your establishment, you better make sure you're paying attention to me. I don't care if there's 700 people in there. You still got to pay attention to me because you think you can handle 700 people. That's awesome. Congratulations. More power to you. But if you forget me, bye. And I don't care what kind of business it is.
You can go a little too far with that, where you walk into an establishment, as soon as you open the door, they're like, "Hi, we're glad you're here," and they just throw it out there. No matter, you know, a dog could walk in the door, you know, anything could walk through the door, and they're all trained to, "Hi, we're glad you're here," and it's like not personal. So what you're saying is that a successful business will overcome the idea that it's just business and it's not personal. A successful business will say it is personal, and we're willing to have a relationship with you at the personal level. And that way you're going to have repeat customer. You'll create customer loyalty. because it is personal. We want it to be personal.
Yes, and I would say it has to be personal because we're persons, we're people.
Funny thing about that.
How could it not? We don't check our personness at the door. Well, now I'm going to work, or now I'm walking to business, so I'm not a person. I'm
an it.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, the idea of bringing it to the bottom line and the customer will forego the personal experience to get the best price, that's somehow crept in along the way, that we could go to Walmart and nobody knows us. But although Walmart does have a greeter at the door, so they do acknowledge in some way, people want to be acknowledged, people want to be greeted, but it's so phony. It's a different person each time. It's just, okay, you met the you put the check in the box, you acknowledge that there is a human being walking through here, but that's not personal. Just because you checked the box doesn't make it personal. I'm really only shopping at Walmart because you have the best price. But if I was really conscious, I would go somewhere in the community and find this same product, maybe pay a little bit more for it, because I'm going to have a personal relationship with you. There's going to be an experience there while I'm there that speaks to me, that makes me actually want to have this experience at this store that's different from Walmart.
Yes, and that part's on us to make that choice. Am I going to go to Walmart, or am I going to pay more at this other place? And sometimes we choose Walmart, sometimes not. I think.
So what about this idea? Sorry, Moshe. Go ahead. I'll come in after you're done.
Well, I was going to step back a bit. So go ahead.
Well, so it leaves me wondering, because I have found, particularly in pandemic time, that I'm perfectly happy to go online and get what I need, and not have to deal with that interaction, or not have to go to the store where I know I'm going to have to deal with somebody who may or may not be interested in me being there, or I have to hunt for somebody to help me for what I need. When I can just go online and I can go, oh, okay, I'll do my research. I need this size. I want this color. Can I get it? Oh, if I can push a button, I can push another button, and in a week I'm going to have my thing, or in a day I'm going to have my thing sitting in my house. That is a different whole construct, because that's pulling out of the relationship. Well, not really. That's actually not pulling out. It's changing the relationship.
It is, and it's hard when things become mostly just a transaction. But there are companies online. We've all had experiences. We've had this with a company called Chewy. They make pet food.
The dog food, dog chews.
Yeah, and they are phenomenal. If there's something our dog doesn't like, they say, well, donate it to a shelter and we'll be refunded. Or if they sent the wrong thing, we'll get the right thing out to you tomorrow. And they do it with joy, and not like, damn, this customer is such a pain. So even in online, and yet there's other companies that make it very difficult, either through how their website is orchestrated. It's just not easy or intuitive, or it doesn't give the feeling that they care at all. So even in a more transactional space, I think organizations can stand out by saying, we want to build a relationship, even if we have 10 seconds with this person. And there are small ways to do it, the please and the thank you and the acknowledgement. We're really glad you're here. We want to do everything we can to make sure you're satisfied. And if you're not, call us and we'll right click here or whatever, and we'll do something about it, and then follow up on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can be done even in that context to set the right relationship.
Very good point. All right, Marcia, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I was just backtracking for a moment when you were talking about business as war, and I was thinking about the lack of engagement that Moshe was pointing out, that very small percentage of the employees are actually involved to where they have ownership of their position, or they're thinking of their job as I want to do well because this is my job, this is the way I support myself or my family, and I'm having accountability that I really want to have the business be successful. So I'm going to show up and do everything that I'm asked, plus a little bit more. I was thinking about some of the statistics regarding an energy of collaboration. Love has no concept of competition. Fear has the concept of competition. Ego has the concept of competition. So in love, There is allness, oneness. We're all on the same team. Having businesses that provide the same goods and services you do and are doing research and development actually make you show up even better. Mm-hmm. The idea that we're all working to evolve our product and service so that we can better serve the customer is actually a good thing. And that's why monopolies are a horrible thing, because we accept the status quo. And once you dominate the marketplace, you could have a decade go by and still make the same crappy cars, for example, because you dominate the marketplace. And there's no reason to change or evolve because you bought up all the new technology and you shelved it from a company making a better product because you don't want to compete with them, because you've already invested in large buildings, large sales staff, blah, 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 blah. To where if we could actually see that what we view as competitors are really not competitors, they're just forcing us or encouraging us to get in the game and stay in the game and to continue to evolve, continue to find new innovative ways of showing up so that we can all benefit from this. It's always all good if you stay involved in the energy of love and push away that energy of fear that somehow we're going to become obsolete, like Kmart or Sears, because they didn't evolve. They were the dominant force once upon a time when we all grew up, and now they're dinosaurs because they were entrenched in their model and they didn't evolve. They became dinosaurs.
I actually think they're extinct now. I think it went beyond dinosaur. I think it's we are guys, we are at the coming to the end here, but I wanted to throw a thought here real quick to the things that we're all talking about, which is thinking about the workforce and the change in the consciousness of business. When you have so many people who are doing stuff they don't want to do for money that is not enough to survive on, where's the payoff? Why bother? Why get involved? And when the companies and the businesses don't attend to that, when they don't provide a living wage, when they don't provide an ability to back years and years and years ago, you could invest your time and energy into a company because you could have longevity there. You could stay at a company for 25 years and grow through that company if that was your desire. And it seemed to me that people were more satisfied in that experience and happier in that experience than this sort of kick to the side viewpoint of the workforce, that it's expendable, that it's really not worth anything, and they're going to come and go. It's a revolving door. So I'm going to pay them cheap. We'll get them in. We'll get them out. We'll get them in. We'll get them out. We'll get them in. We'll get them out. Well, Moshe, I'd like to just because we are literally at the last minute here, would love to hear what would happen if we knew business did better with love. How does that look in your mind in the way that you've evolved it?
Well, the way it shows up is companies answer the question, do we love our customers? As yes. Do our customers love us? The answer is yes. Are we prospering because of that? Yes. How do we deal with our competition? We respect them because they make us better. And this path isn't an easy path, but it's an incredibly powerful path. And we see, the good news is we see a lot of organizations on it. Some are searching, saying, how things are now isn't good, I don't know what to do. That's one reason we wrote the book. Here's the roadmap, here's what to do. And there are more and more organizations that say, this is the way we're going. And some of those organizations are being led with people half our age who say, we have different values. We want to live in accordance with our values.
Yeah.
Alignment. So the light is positive. And the more we go away, the better everybody is.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And that was very concise. Thank you. Moshe, it's been great having you on the show. Jeff, always good to see you. Thank you all out there in livecast land for joining us for another Adventures in Truth podcast. Had a wonderful conversation about how to shift the consciousness of business. And it was in my experience, it was an interesting conversation, and it was a good conversation, and it took a little time to start to worry it open a little bit. So it may be worthwhile to consider going a little deeper on another occasion. Because I didn't feel like we hit our stride until about 25 minutes in. So it took a little while because it's such a chunky concept. But thank you all for being here. You can catch more from Moshe And you can get his book at www.theamariwave.com. And you can learn more about Adventures in Truth at www.adventuresinTruthpodcast.com. And we'll look forward to seeing you. We're here Wednesday mornings and Friday afternoons. And you can check us out on BBS Radio at 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings, Pacific Standard Time. We're currently running a series on plant medicines, which I think is quite remarkable. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Bye-bye.
So long. Thank you, Moshe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's going to be an incredible seminar every Saturday. So please tune in for that. All right. So first, to begin with, I would like to start by introducing Mama Chari, who's a key pivotal person of our Chari Center of Health. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mama Chari.
Namaste and welcome all of you for our Chari Center Health Hour, and this is our third show. And I would like to welcome my whole family. We are all one. We are all have become one family because we all have the common problem. We are all fighting. We can feel all of your pain, and we very much want like to share. We want to share all of your feelings and all of your pain. And we are always there. We are all there for you. This is what we want to do. We want to give our love, our protection, and our comfort. And I just want all of you to know we are here, and we are all praying for you, and we are all sharing all of your pains. I know it's not an easy time for all of us. We cannot have birthday parties. We cannot, especially young people who are planning their weddings and looking forward for that time. They are all so disappointed and they are very depressed. And so we can understand what everybody is going through. And our purpose is we want to give you the courage and the strength and try to be tough. I know it is hard, but we have to be tough. And I know you are all being very brave and handling very well as a matter of fact. But there are some unfortunate things that happen. Dr. Chari is going to address that. But without further ado, Dr. Chari will be talking to you. And I want to let you know, we three of us there for all of you. We are like a world, whole world is like a one family. We all have a common goal. And we all will be just fine. The good days will come. Like I always say, in a dark room, when you bring a candle, it brightens the whole room. It kills the darkness. So that day will come. We all have to be a little bit patient, but we'll fight it. We'll all will fight, and we'll all will be successful, and we all will be happy and healthy. But right now, these are hard times, but we'll be just fine. We'll do it. Believe me. But I want to know all of my love and my blessings with all of you, always. God bless you all. I love you all. Take care.
Thank you, Mama Chari, for those wonderful words. We really appreciate it. I know you must have all appreciated as well. So before we enter our presentation with Dr. Chari, talking about natural solutions for depression, I wanted to give you some statistics that I just came across that will further add to the presentation. According to Vail Wright, who's Director of Clinical Research and Quality for the American Psychological Association, he said, compared with other traumatic events in the past, such as 9/11 or natural disasters, the coronavirus pandemic has a much broader impact across the country and has caused greater feelings of uncertainty, which increases a person's anxiety. Modeling from previous events of this magnitude suggests that the pandemic has exacerbated underlying mental health disorders, including anxiety, stress, anger, and depression. Dr. Simon Rigo of Montefiore Health System in New York told CNBC. He said that these issues are amplified when there's additional economic or medical stress or increased social isolation. The COVID-19 outbreak has caused all three, just to let you know. Economic, medical stress, and increased social isolation. And people become at a higher risk for things like greater depressive episodes or increases in problematic coping strategies like substance abuse, Rigo said. You see some correlation data that suggests people are at greater risk for increased feelings and thoughts of suicide. So this is a perfect lead-in for our presentation, Natural Solutions for Depression by Dr. Chari. So I'd like to, without further ado, introduce Dr. Chari, the medical director for our Chari Center of Health. So here's Dr. Chari.
Thank you, Deepak. And thank you, Mom. And thank all of you for being here today on our television program, the Chari Health Hour. We're so glad that you're here. And if you're watching a replay, we want to thank you for watching our show as well. I know these are very challenging times at the moment. There is so much that is taking place in our country and in the world, and that has been taking place for many months. And I know that many of you, if not all of us, have been feeling the effects of it emotionally in terms of feeling depressed, feeling frustrated, hopeless, helpless at times, anxiety. You may be having trouble sleeping. You may be, binge eating, going to comfort foods. You may be feeling restless or bored. All of these factors play a role. Sometimes you may not be feeling like yourself and just wonder, where is this all going? I want you to know that it's very natural to feel what you've been feeling. And also, most importantly, for you to know you are not alone. You are not alone. And please know that. This is really, really important. And know that we as a family, with our mother, Mama Chari, with my brother Deepak Chari and myself, we want you to know that we're here for you. And we're so passionate about what we do because we want to be of service. And know that you are priceless. You are a gift on this planet. And know how remarkable you are. And we will all come out of this together, out of this entire situation. The world is literally going through a rebirth and a global awakening, the likes that we've never seen. But know also at the same time that going through this, has not been easy. And I know for many of you who have businesses of your own, you may have been affected by that or probably were affected by that. And, it was a very stressful time, and knowing how to pivot your business, especially as small business owners. But I want you all to know that all of your businesses are essential. Businesses provide services to others to help humanity. So every one of your businesses is essential. So as we coming back into our communities, we need to support each other's local businesses, support our communities, and be there for one another. So today, the topic, again, if you're just joining us, is natural solutions for depression. And at first, some of what I will be covering today may seem a little bit heavy, but then I'm going to move into a lighter aspect in terms of solutions and being proactive and what we can do. And this may be life-changing or even life-saving for some of you. And the reason we are so passionate about bringing this topic up right at this moment is because of the massive increase in depression and anxiety. I know, we have felt all of these emotions ourselves, but what was most alarming to us was a dramatic increase in the number of suicides. And this is in people of all ages. And particularly, we're finding that especially with even those who are age 30 and younger, including teenagers and even preteens. And this was so alarming to us. So we want to make sure you have resources and that you can take proactive steps right now, even within your own families or with loved ones or your friends and with the community, because we all need to be very vigilant and proactive with regards to our emotional health and well-being now more than ever. It is critical. So again, thank you so much for joining us here today. Please share our program right now with your friends and family so that they can tune in, because this is a very, very important show. So now I'm going to begin again my presentation with some slides. But again, I just want to emphasize, even though a little bit of what I speak about at the beginning may be a little bit on the heavier side, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're going to come up with some very practical solutions as well. All right, so I'm going to bring up presentation here. All right. So to begin with, are you feeling depressed? And this is a question I want to ask all of you, whether you're feeling it right at the moment or if you felt it some period of time, in these last couple of months. Just really tune in to how you're feeling at the moment. And I know some of you may be slowly getting back to work, which may be a relief for you, to get back to some more of your normal routine. But again, a lot of what I'm going to be speaking about is really tuning into how you're feeling. Now, this was alarming that psychiatrists wrote 86% more prescriptions for psychotropic drugs. And this is, drugs used to treat mental and emotional issues, including antidepressants, this year in both March and April 2020. And this is according to Ginger, which is an organization that provides mental health services to companies. Again, 86% more prescriptions for medications for treating things like anxiety and depression. So this was pretty alarming. And the reason we're seeing such an increase in depression and anxiety is due to social isolation, health concerns, and unemployment. And I'm going to touch base on each of these, because starting with social isolation, when we were, all forced into our lockdown or quarantine, being socially isolated, whether you're alone or even if you're with family members, this is very significant. And the reason this is significant is because when people are socially isolated, what happens is that can actually weaken the immune system. And when the immune system is weakened, it actually makes us a little more susceptible, makes us more easily prone to getting infections, whether it's viruses or bacteria or whatever it may be, because of that weakened immune system. This is why being with others is so important, and why social community is very important. And thankfully, we can do this. We can still connect in different ways. And again, as our society, at least in some states, is very slowly coming back, this is going to be really important to connect with people virtually and, in person. And the second thing is health concerns. And because with, the current issue with the virus in the past couple of months, everybody's been wondering, how am I going to get this? If I do, what would happen? How can I prevent myself from getting this? So all of that anxiety and stress also has led to depression and anxiety, which also further weakens the immune system. So that's another very important point. And then, of course, there's unemployment. And the incidence of suicide increases, they say, with every percentage point increase in unemployment. And now with, millions of people being employed, this is why we need to be more proactive than ever before, So these are some of the reasons why we're seeing the increase in depression and anxiety. And then what are the effects of this? There's several, of course. Drug abuse, including, and there's been a very high increase in the overdose of even pain medications. Drinking more alcohol, and alcoholism is on the rise. And when alcoholism increases, then that also leads to more physical and emotional abuse at home. So, and this is leading to more domestic violence, and people and doctors and nurses are seeing this in the emergency rooms. And then, of course, there's overeating and binge eating. And the reason we do this is to bring us comfort or to, help soothe our anxiety or depression. But what may end up happening then is, leads to weight gain. And if we're eating too many sweets or sugar, that can further weaken our immune system and then makes us more susceptible to infections. So you see how everything is interrelated. And this was also very alarming that doctors at John Muir Medical Center in Walnut Creek, California, have recorded more deaths from suicide than from the coronavirus. And with a year's worth of suicides and suicide attempts being recorded in a 4-week period. So again, they saw a year's worth of suicides and suicide attempts being recorded in a 4-week period. So that is a pretty dramatic increase in the amount and the number of people both attempting suicide and who actually committed suicide. That's why we wanted to get this information out as soon as possible. All right. This is literally a national emergency. And so it's something, again, where we need to be very proactive. So now I'm going into this more of the solutions here. But the first thing I would like each of you to do is, first and foremost, if you can grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and just write down, or do it in your phone, write down the names of 1 to 3 people that you could call and turn to if you were feeling down, if you were feeling depressed, if you were feeling too overwhelmed. It could be anyone, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a teacher, whoever that significant person or persons is to you. If you could right now just write down the names and phone numbers of anywhere between 1 to 3 people of who you would call if you are feeling anxious or depressed or feeling overwhelmed, please do that right now. This is really, really important. And also tell your loved ones that and ask them to do exactly the same thing, to write down who they would call in times of an emergency. This is very, very important. The second thing is getting fresh air and sunshine. The reason being is that it's so important to be outdoors. When we're indoors all the time and not seeing the sun or not getting out because of that fear, that can deplete your immune system. And the sun is so important. It affects not only our immune system and can boost our immune system, but it also lifts up our mood, makes us feel happier. And just imagine when you're in the sun, beautiful sun, and seeing that warm sunshine and feeling that on your body, it feels uplifting. So make sure that you get outside. And for those of you who may be in California, now we can go to the beaches. At least you can go for walks and just see other people. And for wherever you may be in any part of the country, and for that matter, any part of the world, please, please get outdoors. Call your friends or your family and say, okay, let's just go for a walk. But reconnect with people and be out in nature. This is so important. So important. Or meet each other up at a restaurant, because now more and more are opening, and we need to support our local businesses. We need to support our local businesses, our local restaurants. So meet your family and friends at the restaurant. Have, some tea or coffee or a meal together. It'll really make you feel like you're getting back to normalcy again, even though I know still we're in the different phases right now. But whatever you can do, please reconnect in person and get outside with people that you love. And exercise. Simple walks are fantastic. Make sure you breathe in that fresh air, but definitely be outside. And of course, now many practitioners are and have been offering Zoom clinics and Zoom, exercise classes, but there's nothing that can come close to getting outside and getting some fresh air. And when they open, please gently start back with your exercise routines and yoga. Continue doing it virtually, but reconnect with people because that will actually boost your immune system as well. And of course, do it safely, but with the appropriate steps, believe me, you're going to feel so much better. Now, a leading psychiatrist, Dr. Sue Varma, she said on a Med Circle interview a couple months ago, she really introduced some powerful questions to ask someone. And these, she said, literally can save someone's life. So please jot these questions down. The first one is, even though it may seem simple, believe me, it's very profound. The first question is, are you okay? Because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm fine, but actually they're not. We're so used and conditioned to saying we're feeling good when we're not feeling good. So really ask them, are you okay? Number 2, ask that person, is there someone I can help? Maybe they're feeling stressed out about somebody else. So just getting that information may relieve a burden off of them. And, there may be something they want to share with you about another loved one. Number 3, the third question is there someone I can call? Because maybe they don't feel up to calling either their family members or their friends or any of their loved ones. They're just feeling too down and out. They feel too helpless, too hopeless. So maybe if you ask them if there's someone I can call and they say, I want to speak to this person, but I just can't. Maybe if you then said, okay, let me call them for you. And then you can explain to that family member or friend what that person is going through. That can be a true godsend in their life. You can be a true godsend in their life. Number 4, ask them, is there somewhere you want to go? Oftentimes with depression, you can feel so down and out, so feeling such helplessness or hopelessness. You just don't feel like even going out, even though that's the very thing that you need to actually heal emotionally and physically. And if they say, list a place or go shopping or whatever it may be, then maybe you can offer to take them there. And just being with you and getting out may be just what they needed and may be the most life-saving gift that you could give. And number 5, is there something you need? That is another very powerful and important question. Because again, a lot of times when we're feeling so down and out, we may not even know what we need. But just asking that question and then them knowing that there's someone who could help them and get that for them, they could share that with you. And it may not be even anything physical, but just mean, I just need someone to talk to. So, and you can be that person. And trust me, this can be truly life-saving. And loneliness is a public health crisis, and it needs to be taken very seriously. And at least 50% of people are experiencing this currently. So that's why it's so important to connect with others, with our loved ones, and with us as a community as we start getting out again. So it's going to be really important to be aware of how you are feeling. Oftentimes, we're, again, so used to worrying about others, but it's really important to look in the mirror and ask yourself how you are feeling. Are you feeling great? Are you feeling helpless? Are you feeling hopeless? And also the intensity of the feeling. And this is what the psychiatrist was saying as well, is that if you take 10 is feeling great and 0 is feeling miserable, kind of gauge where you're feeling. And of course, you can ask these questions to others as well to gauge where they are. But even for yourself, and most importantly for yourself, don't wait for that number to get to a 1 or a 0. When you notice you're like at a 5 or a 6, really start being proactive, and even if it's higher than that. But just always be proactive and be sure to check in with yourself. We're so used to putting ourselves in the back. But make sure you're always, number one, taking care of yourself and asking yourself how you are feeling. And then I'll go into steps of what we need to do from there. But check in with you. And now I want to give you also, and be sure to jot these numbers down, and I'm going to say it out loud as well, that it'll be very important for everyone to know, because you may need to share this number with others, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-8255. Again, the number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. Or another option is you can text GO, G-O, to 741-741. Again, you can text GO, G-O, to 741-741. And with that, you'll reach a trained crisis counselor through a crisis text line. And this is a global not-for-profit organization that's free 24/7 and is confidential. This is very important to know, both the phone number as well as what you can text, and you can share this information with others who may need it. Again, we are at a very critical time in history, and this information is so important. All right. And on that note, now I'm going to share with you what you need to do to be proactive for yourself. And again, share this with loved ones as well. And please encourage and invite others to come onto our show at the moment, which again, if you're just tuning in, is Natural Solutions for Depression. And again, I shared with you the heavier side of what is going on in this country, but now I'm going to bring you now to practical solutions, because you can be that sunshine. Remember, when there's darkness, just as our mother was saying, when there's darkness, when you light a candle, the room can light up and you can be that light. So it's important, again, as always, as I was mentioning before, to tune into how you're feeling, is to enjoy your hobbies and interests and just do what brings you joy. Don't worry about being an expert in that particular interest or hobby. Just do it because you love doing it. And for each of us, it may be completely different, and probably is completely different. And that's terrific. So see and ask yourself, what is it that I love to do? And even just say you don't know what it is that you love to do, just try something new. And again, you can do online dance classes, and then hopefully soon, when studios get up and are running again, you can again interact with others and dance, maybe singing, it could be acting, could be painting, could be so many things. It may be hiking, but with doing it maybe with some other people as well who love to do that. So just know that, again, we're slowly coming out of the phase that we're in, but no matter what, start doing what you love to do, even if it's just in your home. And then when the time is right, do it in a social setting. So find out what that is. And connecting with others. Most importantly, people want to feel needed, and people want to feel valued and that they have worth. Isn't that what we all ultimately want? Each and every one of us, it doesn't matter who you are. We all want to feel needed. We all want to feel valued. We all want to feel that we have worth. So know that you are worthy and deserving because of who you are, not because of what you do, but just because of who you are. You are special, and you are a priceless gift on this planet, and a priceless gift to humanity. Know that and really embrace that. That is so important. And again, connect with others, with your friends, and with whomever brings you, and your family, whoever brings you happiness and joy. Be sure to reconnect. Again, it can be through a phone call, through FaceTime, could be through Zoom, but now hopefully more and more we'll be able to start meeting in person as well. And we can all help each other. One of the best ways to come out of feeling depressed or even anxious is by reaching out to others, helping others. That brightens up your mood. You can be of service to another person, and it's so uplifting to yourself, to them, to our community, and to humanity. And it gives you that feeling of self-worth as well. And remember, it doesn't have to be anything major. It could be something as simple, even as when you go for a walk and giving someone a smile. I can't tell you, people are really literally starving for connection again. So when we go for walks, we smile and say hi to people. They say, "Hi, how are you doing? Hope all is well." And, it's so beautiful to connect with others. Just know that even a simple, beautiful smile from you to another person can make all the difference in the world. Trust me, it can not only boost your immune system, it boosts their immune system as well. And that heart connection is so important. I'll never forget, I remember we were in North Carolina at the time, and we were, having to do our taxes, and we were, not in the best of moods. And as we were walking to the accountant's office, we were all kind of looking down, and this man came out of the office so bright and smiling and just over on top. I mean, he looked like he was just exuberant, so happy and overjoyed. And we were looking at him, and he looked at us, he looked at each one of us in the eyes, and he said, "You all three are so beautiful. May God bless you all and have a beautiful, blessed day." And after that, we all perked up. We were so happy, so overjoyed, and going to the accountant, believe it or not. And it just made our day, and it completely shifted our mood. So just know that just a simple smile, saying hi, saying God bless you, whatever comes from you, it doesn't matter what you say, but it's all the intention, it's the feeling, it's a heartfelt connection that makes all the difference in the world. And I'll tell you another story. This was back about 2005, 2006. And we had just bought some, furniture at that time. And the man who made the furniture, he delivered it to our home. And it was interesting. After he delivered it and he was about to leave, and at that time, I don't know if you remember the movie The Secret. It's a powerful movie. And when my mother said, suddenly stopped him before he left. And she had us get the video, because we had that copy. And she told him, she said, "I want you to watch this." My mother suddenly looked at him and looked right in his eyes, because our mother is very intuitive, and she looked right into his eyes. She said, "Please watch this movie, The Secret. Watch this movie, and I want you to call me tonight and tell me that you watched it." And first, my brother and I like, "Mom, why are you telling him and forcing him to watch this movie?" But then Mom noticed something. And so again, and she kept insisting, and she said, "Please promise me that you'll watch this movie tonight and you'll call me tonight itself." She goes, "It doesn't matter how late it is, and tell me that you watched it." And she repeated this several times. And then he just looked, and he was kind of silent. He said, "Yes, Mrs. Chari, I promise you I'll watch it." And she said, "You have to promise me." And he said, "I will, I promise." Then he left. Then we were asked our mother, "Why did you so insistent that he watch the movie?" She said, "No, I felt that I had to tell him this." And then we went about our business, and he called later that evening, and he said, "Mrs. Chari, I just wanted you to let you know I did see the movie tonight, and thank you so much." And my mother said, "Oh, thank you." And she said, "It's an honor for me." And she said, "And I want to let you know I'm blessing you. God bless you, and everything will be okay." And then he said, "Thank you so much." He said it very silently, and then hung up the phone. We didn't hear back from him until a year later. And he called, and he said, I picked up the phone. I'll never forget this. He said, "Hello, Dr. Chari." And he said, "Please, can I talk to your mother?" and I want you and your brother to also be on the phone. And he started crying. And I said, "Oh my gosh, is everything okay?" He said, "Oh, it's okay. Please, please." And I said, "Okay, of course." So I called my mother and my brother, and he said, "Mom, I want to tell you thank you so much. A year ago, you told me to watch the movie. You looked into my eyes, you held me, and you told me that to watch the movie The Secret and to call you that night, and that no matter how late it was, that I had to watch it and had to tell you that I watched it." And Mom said, "Yes, I remember." And he said, "I don't know if you realize this, but you saved my life. That night, I was planning on killing myself." And we were in a state of shock. He said, "My business was going down. I actually got an insurance policy so that I figured I would be worth more dead than alive. And I bought a gun and I took care of everything. And that was my plan after I delivered." Couldn't believe this. Your furniture that night, I was just going to have dinner with my family and then kill myself. But because of you, Mom, and so he said, because of you, I completely changed my life. That night I saw the movie and I knew that you loved me and you blessed me. I didn't, and I decided not only am I not going to kill myself, I'm going to make a vow to help others who are suicidal. So he started a mission under the name of Mother Teresa, and he helped, I don't even know, I can't even tell you how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people of all ages, all walks of life, all races, male, female, children, through the elderly. He prevented them from committing suicide. But it was because of the gesture from my mother. And so he said, "It's because of you I'm alive. And I've now been able to help hundreds and hundreds of people in saving their lives. So thank you and God bless you." We were crying and crying and crying every time I remember that even. It's like I get teary. So I want you to know that you do make a difference. You make a difference on this planet. You are priceless. You are the most priceless gift to humanity. Please know that. Please know that. And being compassionate, asking compassionate questions to yourself and others is the most important thing that you can do. Practice being compassionate with yourself first. That's number one. Love yourself and ask yourself, how am I doing today? How am I doing? Remember to always check in with yourself. And ask yourself, what is soothing and nurturing for you? That is the number one question. Make sure you bring it back to yourself. All right. Thank you so much. And let me come back here. So,
Wow, what an incredible presentation, Dr. Chari. That was extremely inspirational. That was extremely inspirational and touching and moving. I know you must have all felt that. Please share your likes and loves in Facebook and for how much you appreciated Dr. Chari's presentation today. We would really appreciate to hear from all of you and your wonderful comments about her presentation today, because I know it was very inspiring and very heartfelt. So thank you so much, Dr. Chari, for that incredible presentation. Thank you.
thank you.
So now we're going to do the live Q&A. So for any questions that you may have had during the presentations. So let me go ahead and take a look at the board here. All right. So I don't see any questions just yet so far. Is there any other comments you'd like to add, Dr. Chari, for your presentation today on natural solutions for depression?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I again want to emphasize how precious you are. Know that you are a treasure on this planet and for humanity. The world needs you. The world needs you now. And know that you need to truly, we all need to do this on a daily basis, is really love ourselves, cherish ourselves, really find what is What brings you joy, what makes you happy, whatever it may be for you. Be sure to do that for yourself, and then connect with others. I can't emphasize that enough. Connecting with others is the most important thing one can do as of service. Believe me, it's a service to yourself as well, because it uplifts your soul, and of course to others as well, because we are all interdependent. No man is an island. We are all interdependent. We all need each other. We all want to be with each other. And luckily, as all of this quarantine is coming, the different phases are being rolled out, we can all, again, come together, be together, eat together, but we can still connect even virtually by phone or FaceTime, but just be sure to connect with others. And again, find out who are those special people in your life you want to connect with, and be sure to connect with them.
Wonderful. That is so beautiful. And I just thought I'd share a comment in the chat room by Tracy, which are just wonderful comments. She wrote, "These are great, simple actions to take. Thank you, Dr. Chari." And she says, "Thank you, Dr. Chari, for addressing such an intense subject and providing such loving, doable solutions." And
thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much.
yes,
We really appreciate it.
thank you so much, Tracy. And she also thanked me for being a wonderful host. So thank you very much, Tracy. I so appreciate that. It's such a pleasure. So wonderful. So that being said, Mama Chari has a few comments to make, and then I'll say a few closing words before we close our show. So we'll go ahead and add Mama Chari. Yeah, there she is.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank you, Tracy, for your kind compliments. Thank you. We love you. I just wanted to say we are all God's children. God is created each of us very special. Each and every one of us are very, very special. We are very unique. And God created us. And God put us on the earth to do our duty, because we all come here for a purpose. And each and every one of us, we have purpose. It is small or big or whatever it is. The purpose is very, very important, very crucial, and very, very important to the society. So, and all of each and every one of you, you are very, very special, and you are very unique, and God created you on a purpose. So please remember, you all have a purpose, and you all have a duty, and you all have to live and finish your duty. And I just very, very much wanted to tell you that each and every one of you are very unique, very, very special, and you all have a duty, and we all have to contribute. That's why God put us on the earth. So don't think you are no use or anything. No, never. Each and every one of us, whatever it is, we have a purpose. So remember that. That is our goal, our purpose. And do that and be happy. And all these depression and bad times will go away. We all have to go through in life sometimes or other. And right now, the whole world, we are family, world family. So we are all facing together. You are not alone, believe me. All over the world, we are all feeling the same thing, facing the same thing, and we'll come through. God will give us energy, strength, and courage, and we'll all come out of this. And but be remember, you are very unique, and God put you on the earth for some purpose. And remember that you have a purpose, and so you are very, very valuable. So always remember that, and we love you all very, very much, and we always pray for you all, and we are all with you for us here for all of you. Please remember that, and we love you all, and God bless you all, and and be brave and be strong, and try to be happy. Find something to be happy. I'm sure there is always something. and try not to be depressed, not to be unhappy. We'll come out of this. Right now, I think we are a kind of gotten used to this, but now everything will become normal and regular. So we all have a wonderful times ahead. And but like I said, be brave and be courage. And we are here for you. And all of us are loving each other. Now right now we are all sharing the love among each and around the world. We are the world family now, not anymore one country. We are the world family. So we are all sharing that, and we are all sharing the love, and of course the pain, everything we are all sharing together. And so we are not alone. So remember that. And above all, God is there. God is looking after us. Please remember that. And so I just wanted to let you know we are all here for all of you. And of course, you are all here for us as well. So we want to share our love to all of you. Bless you all. And remember, we are all for each other. And I just wanted to thank you, and God bless you all. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Mama Chari, for those beautiful, beautiful words. We want to all thank you for coming here for this incredible presentation, Natural Solutions for Depression. And please definitely sign up for our presentation tomorrow at 10 a.m., the Chari Center Community Clinic, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, by texting VClinic to 888-111. That's text VClinic to 888-111, and you'll get the registration link. Make sure you attend that. It's going to be an incredible presentation tomorrow on every Saturday at 10 a.m. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming, and we will see you again next time.
Next
Thank you
time.
for attending.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you so much for coming.